We ready?
Charlie Parker.
Pound it. Alright, here we go. Ready and in 5, 4, 3.
Your co-host will not be Charlie Parker.
Alright, I'm just gonna start and
Okay.
whatever happens, happens. 5, 4, 3. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. Kyle's here as well. Kyle, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing well. I just realized this, Kyle, literally 5 seconds ago. We both wore dark shirts tonight.
We did. Yes.
Yeah,
Different themes,
we didn't coordinate that at all. We just both decided that we were gonna go dark.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I got. I just all of a sudden looked in the camera whoa, he and I both have very odd dark shirts on.
Yeah, I think they're cool. So you got basically have the embodiment of all that is Boston sports, and I have the embodiment of all that is awesome jazz right here. Charlie Parker, baby. Yeah.
Only one of us is actually aligned with the show, but okay. But anyway,
Charlie Parker is aligned with everyone's souls because his music is that good. So that counts for something.
Sure, let's go with that. But anyway, it's good to be back, for another episode. Very excited, as always. And before we get into tonight's episode, obviously want to give a special shout out, as always, to our sponsors, that being Wes Woodson and Zyman Organizing. Big friends and sponsors of not just this show, but Marvel at the Movies and the Sports Blitz as well. So the entire YouTube trilogy that we have going on here, and
the YouTube verse, the podcast, the PCU, the podcast cinematic universe. See, that's why we do all these crossovers, and we're gonna have eventually the Avengers. It'll be like podcast Endgame, where we're just gonna have Marvel at the Movies plus us plus Sports Blitz. We're just gonna have this big battle
on a couch talking Marvel Blitz.
Yes. Yeah, it'll just be a big battle. I don't know who we're gonna fight. We don't have any really villain characters or anything like that to speak
Rob
of.
Hauser.
Oh yeah, there we go. It'll be Rob Hauser and his army of internet haters. Just a big army of internet haters that are gonna come by, and we're just gonna fight them all. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wonder whatever happened to that guy. It's been years, and I just haven't heard anything about it. I think he just kind of faded off into oblivion, which is where he belongs. So there you go.
Or so we think.
Who knows? But anyway, big shout out to Wes and to Zyman Organizing, as always, for their support, and their links, as always, will be in the description. So for tonight's episode, we're going to keep it kind of simple tonight, partially because we really didn't have any other ideas. But no, in all seriousness, we just kind of felt like having a very smooth, simple episode for you tonight. So we're going to do, first of all, we're going to introduce a new segment that we do, or that I do, I should say, around this time of year every year, and that is the Robbie's Favorite / Fantasy Football Recap. Now, fantasy football has not technically started yet, because obviously this coming weekend is the first weekend of the NFL season, and so obviously I cannot review my fantasy teams. I'm going to have 3 fantasy teams, by the way, this year, folks. So I cannot review their performances yet, because obviously the first games aren't until this weekend. But that will be coming up next episode. I will begin sort of that portion of the recaps. But I can get into the Robbie's Favorite Football Recap, because one of my favorite teams began their season this past weekend, and that was the Boston College football team. They had their season / home opener this past Saturday against Rutgers. It was a game that I was at. For those of you who don't know, I am a season ticket holder to BC football. So if they're at home in the fall on a Saturday afternoon, you can usually find me over in Chestnut Hill. Unfortunately, they came up a little bit short on Saturday, losing 22-21 to Rutgers. It was a very tough, hard-fought, frustrating game because BC was up basically for the entire game until the fourth quarter when Rutgers scored like not last minute, like in the last minute, but the last couple minute touchdown that ended up pulling them ahead 22-21. It was, like I said, it was just a tough game for BC, especially offensively. The offensive line did not really play that great. Allowed a lot of pressure on the quarterback and did not allow BC to run the ball all that well. So just a tough, sort of bitter pill to swallow to start off the season, especially being at home. So disappointed to say the least, but it's only week one, so plenty of football left to be played. BC will look to get back on track this coming Saturday night when they travel to Virginia Tech, who is also 0-1, by the way. So two teams looking to bounce back from first week losses. That game, again, I said will be next Saturday night, or this coming Saturday night, I should say, in Virginia, at Virginia Tech. So
cool.
And in terms of the other two teams in the Robbie's favorite football recap, both of them begin their season. Boy, am I boring you that much with my Robbie's favorite football recap, man? Like, come on now. I'm putting him to sleep. Jeez, I try to bring some spice and some commentary to this show, and my co-host just gets put to sleep by my in-depth insights and analysis. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'll just go like this.
Oh God, Kelly Clarkson, what? Oh.
Okay. Anyway, so the other 2/3 of the Robbie's favorite football recap actually begin their seasons this week. You've got the Wellesley High School football team, alma mater of both Kyle and myself. They open up their season this Friday night against Longmeadow, a team that they played last year and beat. So looking to beat them again this year, and just wanted to, obviously wish Wellesley High football team best of luck in 2022. Definitely looking forward to recapping their games for the recap coming up here. And then obviously the New England Patriots will begin their season on Sunday afternoon in Miami. Year 2 of the Mac Jones era in Foxborough. Looking for another playoff appearance after, the Pats did make the playoffs last year. Unfortunately, got blown out in the first round by the Buffalo Bills, which was very disappointing. But, it's a new year, and I hope that the Patriots can have even better run in 2022 than last year, and hopefully make it to the playoffs again. We shall see. But yeah, they open up right with a division game right off the bat. Like I said, they will be in Miami Sunday afternoon to open up this season. They actually opened up last season against Miami. This time at home, they fell in that game. So hopefully they can have a better opener against the Dolphins this time around. So you get that always daunting trip to Miami right off the bat. So you get it right out of the way. So we will see what happens. But cool. Yeah, definitely just again a little bit of a lighter, Robbie's favorite / fantasy recap this week before everything really gets going for real next week. But definitely a little primer of what's to come in that department. But now, obviously, for what is going to be probably the most electric part of tonight's episode, because I know he's got a lot to talk about for this particular segment this week. It is the Sue's Reviews, and so here to take us through the Sue's Reviews is the Sue's himself, Kyle. Take it away.
All right, so tonight I was going to kind of touch upon 2 movies that I saw recently in the past month or so. And I kind of had a little bit of a theme for these 2 movies, and they were kind of sort of the oddball movies in a way, because these 2 are movies that are, I think they're very hard to compare to other movies. They're very kind of really out of this world. No pun intended for actually both of them technically. Like, well, one of them especially. Um, but they're just very kind of offbeat movies and movies that I'm gonna both of them recommend you guys go see. The first one I'll start off with is Nope, and yes, that's the movie that was released last month, or was it 2 months? No, actually, technically two. It was actually the end of July, technically, by Jordan Peele, and yes, it's about this alien. That's this alien sort of craft type of thing that's attacking this small town in the west, or in the like western part of the U.S. I believe. Yeah, no, in Hollywood, yeah, of course. And so basically, it's up to this brother and sister to see what's going on and to see if they can try to stop this thing. And while it may seem like a very simple premise on paper, it's actually got a lot going on in the movie, especially the very first shot of the movie. You're gonna be so confused at like what the hell's going on. But the movie does a really good job at revealing itself. Like as it goes on, it kind of peels back the layers of what's going on and what they're dealing with, and it's a very unique way to kind of tackle those type of sci-fi alien invasion type movies. And I don't want to go too much farther into the story because um, there's some really cool twists that go on. So it's a very strange movie, and I think it's a movie that definitely requires several viewings because it's just there's a lot going on, and for me, I enjoyed it, but I didn't. I don't know if I loved it or not. It's hard to say. It's just one of those movies that I liked what they did with the alien, um, but I wasn't the kind of the alien, I guess you could say, angle of it. But I was a little kind of back and forth on the human characters. There were some that they kind of that didn't play a huge role, and others I feel like that played a role, but they just kind of came off as very sort of a bit flat. But I will say the actress who plays the sister in the movie, played by Kiki Palmer, she was incredible. I thought she was the best of all the human characters. Um, she needs to be in more movies. Like she was her I think one of, if not maybe her very first movie that she did was this movie called Aquila and the Bee. This was like way back in, I think it was like the mid 2000s. It came out with Lawrence Fishburne. It was when spelling bee movies were just kind of all the rage at that time. And no, I was very mixed on it. Kind of after watching it, like, but I think it's a movie that everyone should see because it's a very original movie, and you don't really get a lot of those nowadays. And that was probably the aspect I really appreciated about it the most. It's very well made. It's very well directed. I think Jordan Peele is one of the best directors we have around nowadays, and he really, you could tell he really put his all into this movie, and there were a lot of elements that just he was really going for. And I think for me the overall kind of the narrative and the story just didn't 100% work for me. It's kind of hard to explain, maybe a little harder without getting into spoilers. But having said that, even though I didn't enjoy the movie as much as some of the other critics and other reviewers and stuff like that, I still think you guys should see it. And I think this is a movie that you should just see for yourself and see if you really enjoy it, or maybe if you don't, maybe you won't be as interested. But just check it out. It's a very different movie, so if anything, you're just watching a well-made movie. A movie at least with a lot of heart and originality. So, and then to move on to the other movie I saw, actually just literally this past weekend with our good friend Jerome. We saw this movie. Yeah, we saw this movie called 3,000 Years of Longing, and this stars Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba, and that movie is also kind of another movie. Begins with a very basic kind of like premise. It's like this woman who's in English studies and professor, I believe, and she goes to London, and she goes to Turkey. Sorry, she's from London, goes to Turkey. That's what I meant to say. And she gives these lectures on basically like gods and mythology and stuff like that. And she ends up finding this genie, or technically jinn lamp, and she unleashes this incredibly powerful jinn played by Idris Elba. And it's the classic. She unleashes the genie slash jinn from the lamp, and she has three wishes that he can grant her and stuff like that. But the movie, even though the premise is very simple, there's a lot of nuance and a lot of just stuff going on in that movie as well. And that movie I actually really, really enjoyed. I think it actually might be one of my favorite movies of the year. And it's just one of those films that you don't really know where it's going exactly, and I kind of like it about that. It's not a typically structured movie. You just sit down and you watch it, and it's a very good character piece. Its characters are very engaging, especially the two leads. And it's one of those movies that you're just not sure where it's going to go, and then when where it goes is very unique and very fascinating. And I like it. Kind of has a bit of a historical kind of aspect to it too, and I really like that. I thought the production value was great, like any George Miller movie. Now this is the guy who directed this movie, George Miller. Just a quick side note: he directed Mad Max and those series of movies, so you kind of know, at least visually, I think, kind of what you're in for. And here he does not disappoint. I thought the visuals were fantastic. The effects were great, because when you have a movie dealing with a djinn, obviously you're gonna have to have some special effects, But it was just a beautifully shot, beautifully made movie. And also very original. There's not many movies like this, and that's what I really liked about it too. It was just very, I don't know, it just had a very offbeat kind of personality, but also very at times heartwarming, and even had some horror elements here and there. There were a couple scenes actually that kind of made me feel a bit uneasy, and that's just really how the movie really works. It's just kind of, it balances a bunch of different types of genres, and it really tells a very unique and engaging story, I thought, at least. So yeah, no, I would wholeheartedly recommend seeing those two movies, especially if you're looking for movies that are more original. I don't think you'll do wrong with either of them. I think you'll have a great time watching 3,000 Years of Longing and Nope, regardless of maybe, yeah, I just think, just check them out. So yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Kyle, as always, for those lovely
you can put your phone away.
reviews. I know, right? What are you talking about? We haven't, sort of gone into a system where you check my phone while you're doing the series.
I'm just going to, write a sign now that should, when I'm done talking, I'll just be like, okay, Robbie, read the sign. You can put your phone away.
You gotta stick with the, good stuff. I'm kidding. Thank you as always for that lovely edition of the Sue's Reviews. So that does wrap up this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Hope as always everybody enjoyed tonight's episode. If you did, please like and give us a subscription as well. Tell your friends. Ring the bell, as Doug loves to say on the sports list, and I'm sure Marvel at the movies as well. Leave us a comment. If you heard something on the show that you like or wanted to comment on, definitely drop us a comment.
Or if you had any ideas, anything that you would like us to talk about as well.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, listen, people have commented with show ideas, and we've actually used those ideas before. So don't be afraid. Please, if you have an idea for a show, we're always looking for ideas. So you can control. You could be like the writers of our show, a guest writer of our show.
Are you saying we don't have writers, Robbie? What are you talking about? We totally have writers. Yep, keep going, guys. Keep going. Next week. Get ready. Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to make sure our writers were on task. So
Good. But like I said, please subscribe, ring the bell, drop us a comment, all that good stuff. And, obviously you can find us here on YouTube, but you can also find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter, and you can find us on Instagram. So we're all over the social media universe. just like shows involving us are all over the YouTube universe, with obviously On a Couch Talking Sports, the Sports Blitz with me and Doug. New episode coming soon, by the way. And Marvel at the Movies with Kyle and Doug. They got some new stuff coming down the pike as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that. As always, big shout out to the sponsors, Wes Woodson, Zyman Organizing. Much love to you both for your continued support. And that's all I got for this week. Unless you got anything else, I think we're good to wrap up here for another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, he's Kyle. I'm Robbie. This is a couch. And
this is a napkin.
And this is a pillow. And we will see you next time here on a Couch Talking Sports. Bye, everybody.